Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is the Raptor, and welcome to the Season 10 finale and the 100th episode of Who'd Win and Why. And this time we've got two of the greatest superhero teams from the Marvel Cinematic Universe ready to go at it. The Avengers versus the Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, before we get into this fight, there are a few things to establish right off the bat. Yes, the teams do consist of the MCU versions of the heroes. The Avengers are made up of Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Hulk, Black Widow, and Hawkeye, while the Guardians are made up of Star-Lord, Gamora, Drax, Rocket Raccoon, Teen Groot, and Mantis. To make this fight the most fair overall, while also making sense within continuity, this is a fight that takes place at the end of 2014 MCU time. This means we'll mostly be looking at information from the Iron Man movies, the first two Captain America and Thor movies, the Incredible Hulk, the first Avengers movie, and the two Guardians movies, though I may still use images from succeeding films in this video. And of course, in order for one team to win, all members of the opposing team must die, regardless of how many members of the winning team are left standing. Now that that's all out of the way, we just need to know one thing. Who'd win? And why? Well, let's find out. So first we're going to talk about the Avengers. To quote Nick Fury, director of S.H.I.E.L.D., there was an idea, Stark knows this, called the Avengers Initiative. The idea was to bring together a group of remarkable people, see if they could become something more, see if they could work together when we needed them to fight the battles we never could. After their various solo adventures beforehand, these 6 heroes came together in order to defeat Loki, the Norse god of mischief, and his plan for world domination. After a quite rocky beginning between the teammates, they eventually succeeded in taking down Loki and saving the world, and they became the greatest real-life legends the world had ever known. Genius billionaire playboy philanthropist Tony Stark became the invincible Iron Man after escaping a terrorist organization known as the Ten Rings and learned the true danger of his manufactured weapons. Tony built dozens of incredible suits of armor over the years, making over 40 suits as of 2014, though many of them were destroyed during the final battle with Aldrich Killian. Regardless, these suits were powerful pieces of technology, usually composed of a gold titanium alloy and powered by a miniature arc reactor. The suit's numerous weapons and abilities included repulsor nodes built into the gauntlets, breastplate, and boots of the suit for energy attacks and supersonic flight, lasers, missiles, flamethrowers, smart microguns, EMP projectiles, and of course, the onboard computer system Jarvis. His strength and durability were also increased dramatically in the suits, capable of lifting over 60 tons and surviving tank shells exploding in his face. And while he can still be a cocky asshole, he's definitely learned to mature over the course of his superhero career. During the Second World War, scrawny Steve Rogers took part in a dangerous super soldier experiment that enhanced his physical and mental capabilities to that of beyond normal human levels, becoming the legendary Captain America. While fighting for his country, Steve crash-landed a plane that was filled with bombs into the ocean, saving countless lives. But little did he know, he would be thawed out from the ice after being frozen for nearly 70 years, and he continued to fight on in the present day. Cap's new astounding strength, speed, and stamina made him capable of lifting nearly 30 tons and running over 25 miles per hour, and his super soldier mind makes him a fantastic strategist and allows him to react incredibly quickly. Additionally, Cap possesses his iconic red, white, and blue shield, made entirely out of vibranium. This metal is extremely vibration absorbent and for the most part is indestructible except when put up against more vibranium, and Cap uses the shield for defense but also as a throwing weapon to hit enemies. His suit also provides light protection against weapons, though it's obviously not nearly as tough as the vibranium. The only true son of the All-Father Odin, Thor, the Norse god of thunder, was sent to Earth powerless in order to learn humility and mature as a prince. Thankfully, Thor learned what it meant to be a true hero, and with all of his powers at hand, he really is a force to be reckoned with. He possesses unbelievable strength and durability thanks to his godly physiology, and this allows him to tangle with frost giants, dark elves, Chitauri, marauders, curse, and even the Incredible Hulk, as well as lift enormous amounts of weight, and he heal faster than an ordinary person. He's also impressive when it comes to speed and reflexes, being able to keep up with Loki and Iron Man in hand-to-hand combat, but he's at his fastest when flying through the air faster than sound. He does this by swinging his hammer Mjolnir at incredible speeds before taking off, and he can call the hammer to him if he's somehow disarmed or after he throws it at an opponent. In addition to flight, the hammer allows Thor to manipulate the weather, summon and generate lightning, project blasts of electrical energy, and he can swing it hard enough to destroy the entire Bifrost Bridge in only a few swings, giving him even more force behind his attacks. Dr. Robert Bruce Banner was a gifted scientist who was an expert when it came to all things gamma radiation. Unfortunately, after exposing himself to a ton of it during a supposedly harmless experiment, his body was transformed into a heap of green muscle and the Incredible Hulk identity emerged. While it's sometimes hard to control the Hulk, he's still proven himself a hero more than once and is a beast on the battlefield. And while he does sacrifice all of Bruce's intelligence in this form, the Hulk gets stronger as he gets angrier. At his angriest, he's able to exert far over 2,000 tons of force in a single punch, making him one of the strongest beings on Earth. He possesses incredible speed and reflexes significantly beyond that of any normal human, and he can also use his immense strength to leap far distances, leaping speeds of over 400 miles per hour. His high skin, bone, and muscle density gives him the durability to withstand insanely powerful forces such as hits from Thor's hammer and the Abomination, and he's got a wicked healing factor to top it all off. Now, the Hulk will turn back into Bruce Banner once he's calm enough or after he's taking a hard enough hit, but while he does regain his superb intelligence, he obviously loses all of the Hulk's ridiculous power and stamina. Natasha Romanoff and Clint Barton have very different backstories from one another. She was brought up to be a cold-blooded killer after being recruited by the KGB at a young age, while he grew up in Iowa and taught himself the ways of marksmanship, never finishing high school. Still, these best friends have worked side by side on numerous occasions and eventually became the best agents that S.H.I.E.L.D. had to offer, operating under the codenames of Black Widow and Hawkeye respectively. Black Widow has mastered at least 10 martial arts styles and knows how to effectively use numerous weapons and gadgets, and she's an expert spy, hacker, assassin, marksman, and acrobat. She carries various handguns, electrified batons, and her electroshock weapon known as the Black Widow's Bite to electrocute enemies. Hawkeye is said to be the world's greatest marksman and wields his trusty bow and conventional or trick arrows, including arrows that explode, stun opponents, electrify opponents, release smoke, release a net, contain acid, and much more. He can fire multiple arrows in only a few seconds, and he's also a master martial artist, acrobat, and tactician. Each member of the Avengers has had their own solo outings as heroes, but they're no doubt the strongest when put together and fighting as one. While they only really spent one mission together as of 2014, they were able to bring down a Norse god and his enormous army with their strategic ability and collective power. And of course, the various intense villains they fought while on solo missions show that they know what it takes to come out on top. Still, they sometimes have a tendency to butt heads with each other and disagree, and there are certainly some members who aren't as powerful or as physically capable as others. Even so, though, the Avengers really do live up to the title of Earth's mightiest heroes and will always assemble when the Earth needs them to. And while every member has his or her flaws, they've got the intelligence, strength, and determination to be the best and to take down the best too. Alright, so now it's time to move over to the Guardians of the Galaxy. To quote Peter Jason Quill, aka Star-Lord, so here we are. A thief, two thugs, an assassin, and a maniac. But we're not going to stand by as evil wipes out the galaxy. I guess we're stuck together. Partners. After spending so much time as outlaws and criminals who work by their own terms, pure luck would bring them all together in prison, and only by joining forces were they able to escape. While they mostly started out as selfish jerks, they eventually grew a mutual respect for one another and became a part of something bigger than any one of them. Now, as the Guardians, they travel around the galaxy to help those in distress. And sometimes save the galaxy too, because that's just the way it goes. When he was a child, Peter Quill had the absolute worst day of his life. First, his mother Meredith died of terminal brain cancer, and then he was abducted by aliens literally moments after. These aliens were known as the Ravagers, and while they were supposed to take Peter to his celestial father, Ego the Living Planet, they kept him with them to keep him safe. Peter was raised by Yondu, the leader of the Ravagers, who trained him to be an expert thief, tactician, marksman, pilot, and combatant, though he did eventually decide to stop working for Yondu and become an independent outlaw before joining the Guardians. He adopted the name Star-Lord, a nickname given to him by his mother, and built up his skills tremendously over his 20-plus years in space. He also carries various weapons and items items with him for thievery and combat, including an energy bolas, a hadron enforcer, a gravity mine, jet boots, and a helmet for flight and general space maneuverability, and more. Arguably his most useful tools are his quad blasters, which can shoot non-lethal electric blasts and deadly fiery blasts. He also unlocked a ton of insane powers after meeting his father, including immortality, though he unfortunately lost these new abilities following Ego's death. Gamora's story also started when she was a child, and in a somewhat similar way to Star-Lord. In his quest for balance, the Mad Titan Thanos had come to her home planet of Zenwaberi and slaughtered half of her race before taking her in as his adopted daughter. Thanos brought Gamora up to be a cold-hearted assassin alongside her quote-unquote sister Nebula, and while she eventually betrayed Thanos to work on her own terms and later become a force for good, her criminal reputation still earned her the title of the most dangerous woman in the galaxy. Gamora's bionic enhancements and alien heritage give her greater strength, agility, stamina, and durability to a degree when compared to most other humanoids. She can break free from being tied up by Groot's vines, wield an enormous cannon without much difficulty, survive intense electrocution, and react incredibly quickly during combat. She also possesses enhanced vision, a regenerative healing factor, and is a master martial artist and assassin thanks to her years of training with Thanos and combat experience. Her primary weapon is Godslayer, her retractable sword capable of cutting through all kinds of durable metals, though she also carries a switchblade given to her by Thanos as a child, both of which she's extremely skilled with. Drax came from an unknown race of warriors who, while relatively naive, are ferocious fighters. He was content with his life, living with his wife and daughter on their home planet, but all of that happiness was taken away when Kree warrior Ronan the Accuser slaughtered Drax's family, along with half of his race. Fueled with hate and desperate for revenge, Drax traveled the galaxy in search of the Kree, killing anyone who got in his way. This earned him the nickname the Destroyer, and he was eventually imprisoned for his crimes. He later escaped with the help of some other inmates, and together, as the Guardians, they were able to take down his family's killer once and for all. Drax possesses great strength and durability, capable of breaking through stone and metal and withstanding attacks from extremely strong alien races, like Ronan and the Obelisk. He can leap impressive distances with great speed thanks to his strength and agility, and his regenerative healing factor allows him to outlast many of his foes. His combat skills are so good that he can overpower multiple well-trained opponents fighting him at once, and he carries his signature dual knives, which he's mastered the use of, making him even more deadly on top of his strength and skill. Rocket Raccoon, aka Subject 89P13, was experimented on the planet Half-World, which resulted in him acquiring cybernetic enhancements and a far greater level of intelligence. Unfortunately, these experiments caused Rocket to become more hateful and more chaotic in general, and this led to him becoming a thief and mercenary, taking on the name Rocket. Rocket is insanely smart when it comes to weapons and other pieces of technology, and he can use them with great efficiency. He carries gas grenades, arrow rings, a laser cannon, an ion cannon, and more, and his physical stats are quite impressive for someone of his size thanks to his enhancements. Rocket eventually partnered with Groot, a Flora Colossus from Planet X, and the two were partners in crime for their mercenary work until joining the Guardians as heroes and rising up against Ronan. Sadly, Groot died while saving his teammates during a spaceship crash, but Rocket was able to make a new Groot by planting a cutting from his body. Groot's new body grew into that of a teenager's extremely quickly, and while he lost the amazing strength and memories of Groot number 1, he is still powerful, capable of impaling and lifting multiple Outriders with his branches almost effortlessly thanks to his elasticity powers. He can also grow sharp twigs on his body, create branch shields and tentacles, and his tough wood body and healing factor make him a hard one to incapacitate. Mantis lived on her home world as an orphan until she was found and adopted by Ego the Living Planet. She lived isolated with Ego all the way until her young adult years, and had virtually no interaction with any other living beings. That is, until she met the Guardians of the Galaxy after Ego had finally located his son, Peter Quill. While Mantis was well aware of Ego's evil intentions, she blindly stayed by his side out of loyalty to him. However, after forming close bonds with the Guardians and not wanting them to suffer, she informed them of his plans and joined the team as a hero, leading to Ego's defeat and Mantis' first taste of a real sense of family. Being an empath, Mantis naturally holds incredible power in regards to sensing and experiencing the emotions of others. With just a touch, she can feel any anyone's emotions or even alter them to a limited degree. But on the more offensive side of the scale, she can make people fall asleep almost instantly with a simple touch, assuming that they don't have an insanely strong will, and similarly make them wake up on command. However, she doesn't appear to have a great degree of strength, speed, or durability, so the opportunity to use her empathic abilities may not always present itself depending on her opponent. Thankfully though, she's still at least competent when fighting alongside the rest of the Guardians. With all of the unique weapons and abilities that the Guardians members bring to the table, it's no wonder they've been able to pull off some ridiculous victories. Not only have they taken down hordes of enemies from various worlds in the galaxy, they've also been able to bring down both Ronan the Accuser and Ego the Living Planet, one of which was a super strong Kree warrior and the other was basically a god, while also a planet. They've unfortunately lost friends along the way, such as adult Groot and Yondu, but it's only made them stronger and let them realize how precious family really is, and they've always managed to keep going. Obviously, the Guardians aren't perfect, and they've been known to bicker with each other more than a well-oiled team probably should, not to mention that some of their victories feel like they can be somewhat chalked up to luck. But no matter how you slice it, saving the galaxy 2 times in a row is extremely impressive for a bunch of a-holes that just want to do a little good in the galaxy. Alright, so now that I've finally gone over both of these teams, it's time for me to say who I think would win this battle. And this fight is certainly interesting when looking at the team's respective resumes and experiences. While the Avengers have all had more on-screen appearances as of 2014, the Guardians have technically spent more time together as a single unit. Not to mention that all of them were already experiencing their own individual space hijinks beforehand. And considering that both teams have taken on and beaten incredibly powerful villains, everyone has definitely had their fair share of fighting experience. However, after analyzing all of these characters and their capabilities, I do personally believe that the Avengers would be the winners of this fight. And if you think that the Guardians would win, that's great, that's totally fine, let me know why down in the comments below, but first here's my reasoning for why I think the Avengers would win more often than not. While each team definitely has their fair share of strong players in their own rights, it's very obvious that the Avengers members have more power behind them in an overall sense. The Guardians may not be pushovers, but barely any of them have any insane levels of physical strength, speed, or durability. Definitely not enough to compete with the likes of Iron Man, Hulk, or Thor. Even the weakest members of the Avengers, Hawkeye and Black Widow, are far from outclassed by most of the Guardians in a strictly physical sense. The Guardians do have a number of useful attributes, like Groot's abilities, Rocket and Star-Lord's tech, and Mantis' mental powers, and these would be able to take out some of the weaker Avengers if given the right opportunity. But even the best of their abilities wouldn't be able to match what the strongest Avengers bring to the table, who'd be able to take out the weaker members of the Guardians easily. As I mentioned before, the Guardians' accomplishments are pretty damn impressive, as they've taken down both Ronan and Ego, both of whom are extraterrestrial powerhouses. Unfortunately, these were mostly done with circumstantial help. First, they beat Ronan with the Power Stone, and Star-Lord was able to keep Ego at bay long enough with his temporary demigod powers for the Guardians to blow him up. It's heavily implied the Guardians wouldn't have been able to succeed without these in play, and the Avengers have shown to be much more capable when taking on bigger threats. And let's be honest, even though we're technically using Team Groot to make the time period of the fight make sense, analyzing adult Groot wouldn't make a difference. The Guardians are still outclassed physically overall. Groot also isn't immortal no matter which version we use, considering that he was only able to come back to life after Rocket salvaged part of him and started to regrow him, meaning every Guardians member is certainly able to die just like every Avengers member. With all this being said, this fight isn't just a matter of which team members are more powerful or who's more likely to die. It's also a matter of how well everyone works together as a team and how they can use that to their advantage. Both teams have shown that they can butt heads and argue about what actions to take, but when putting that to the side, the Avengers have what it takes to work significantly more efficiently as a unit. For example, both teams have strategized for a fight situation, mostly thanks to the help of their signature strategizers, but Captain America's strategizing is certainly quicker and more well put together than Star-Lord's thanks to Cap's super soldier brain, and he definitely does it better while in the middle of battle. On top of that, the Avengers have shown that they can communicate with each other across the battlefield and come up with new strategies on the fly, while the Guardians don't have any easy way of talking to each other whenever they need to. This allows for a much better level of coordination between the Avengers' teammates than the Guardians have shown, and this is even more supported by how easily the Avengers work side by side and can perform team-up attacks and combo attacks. In general, while the Avengers haven't worked with each other too much as of 2014, they've still been in the business for longer than any of the Guardians and still know what it takes to pull through when fighting as a team. Overall, both of these teams have their ups and downs, and all of these characters are capable fighters, but the Guardians of the Galaxy just don't have what it takes to overcome heroes as seasoned as the Avengers. The Guardians have their strengths and they know how to capitalize on them, but it's not enough to take down a whole team of Earth's mightiest without any sort of outside help. While the Guardians would put up a tough fight, I feel that the Avengers' overall superior power, speed, durability, strategy, and teamwork would be enough to prove what's really the best team in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, in my opinion, the winners are the Avengers. So guys, thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. Guys, we've made it to 100 episodes of this series. I could not be happier. This is over the course of nearly 4 years, and it's just been an insane ride with all of you guys. You know, obviously I have to give a big thanks to everyone who's been watching my videos. You know, whether you've been here from the beginning, or you've been more recently joined, or you're somewhere in the middle. Thank you all so much for watching my videos, because it means so much. You guys are the reasons I keep doing this stuff, and the videos are just so fun to make. I really hope you guys enjoy it just as much as I enjoy making them. But I also have to thank a few people in particular. First, I have to give a big shout out to Lucas Green, because Lucas has been helping me with research basically ever since the beginning. Like, literally almost every single episode he's been doing research, and that's just insane. So I have to give a big shout out to you, Lucas. Also, he's been helping out with the thumbnails. He's made every single thumbnail, so that's freaking insane. I also have to give a big shout out to Shadow Critius, because he made, you guys may have noticed, there's a new intro for the series. At least I hope so. I haven't finished editing the video yet. Hopefully it works out. But hopefully it's there, and that was made by Shadow Critius, and he worked really hard on it, and it's really awesome. So obviously I have to give a big shout out to you as well. And you know, there are other people who have been with me through the journey. You all know who you are. So again, big thanks to everyone who's been watching the channel and helping me out with the channel and everything like that, because you guys are just the best, and it's been such an awesome ride doing these videos. And we're gonna keep going. There's gonna be season 11. Hopefully the schedule video will be coming out in 2 weeks, as the schedule on my community tab says. But even if it doesn't come out quite then, it will still be coming out in the near future, so be on the lookout for that. And yeah, I'm excited for it. I hope you guys are excited for it too. 100 episodes, guys. We made it. So that's it for me. I will see all of you guys in the next video. Peace out.